Welcome to Real Recaps. Today, we'll look at a 2021 horror comedy film titled Werewolves Within. At the beginning of the movie, we see a man named Dave who is standing outside his lodge. Just then, there is some movement in the bushes and something attacks him. 29 days later, we see a forest officer named Finn who comes to Beaverfield to take charge. This was his punishment posting. Finn arrives and stays at the only lodge in town now owned by Jeannie. There, he meets the town's new mail person, Cicely. Before Cicely, Dave was the mailman. Cicely was also living in the same lodge for a month. This town is very small where only a few people live. An oil pipeline project is going through this town, which was supported by many people in the town, but some people still opposed it. A man named Sam had come here to persuade those who were opposing it. He is also staying in the same lodge. An environmentalist, Dr. Elise, also stays at the lodge. She had come to study the environmental impact of the pipeline project. The next day, Cicely takes Finn on a town tour where she also talks about the fake rumor of Jeannie's husband. The people of the town thought that he had run away with some lady. First, we see Devin and Jakeem, who are a gay couple. Later, Marcus and Gwen, and then we see a couple named Trisha and Peter. Trisha had a dog, Chachi, which she loves. Peter flirts with Cicely here as he is a pervert. Sam built a fire totem in the middle of town as a midway symbol of his project. Later, we see Finn going to a cottage outside the town. There lived a hunter named Flint who used to hunt illegally. He doesn't care about the rules of the forest office or the people of this town, and threatens Finn. Later that night, we see Cicely and Finn spending some quality moments at a local bar. That same night, some unknown thing attacks Trisha's dog and kills it. The next day, she goes to the lodge and starts a ruckus in front of everyone. All the people of the town had gone there as the power of the town had gone out. The highway is also closed due to snowfall last night and the mechanics from the power company are also no longer available. Finn goes to check the backup generators where he finds someone's claw marks. Someone had destroyed the backup generators. Finn then finds a dead body which turns out to be Dave. Jeannie starts crying after seeing her husband's dead body as she had faith in him from day one, and knew he was loyal. Dr. Ellis checks Dave's body and finds some animal hairs. Everyone thinks it's an animal attack. On hearing the name of the man-eating animal, Finn suggests the idea of getting help from Flint as he was an expert hunter. But this does not go down well with the townspeople. Flint was never social, he lived in isolation and the townspeople were always skeptical about him and thought him a psycho anyway. Finn and Cicely still go to Flint's house. Flint flatly refuses to help, saying that he does not care and he is happy where he is. Finn tries to give him a long lecture on neighborhood community duty, citing Mr. Rogers' neighborhood TV show as an example. But nothing works. Flint just laughs it off. While these two are talking, Cicely finds Trisha's dog collar. It was lying there in plain sight. Naturally, this spooks Cicely and Finn and they quickly leave Flint's house. Back at the lodge, Dr. Ellis shares her preliminary DNA results with Jeannie. She tested both the hair samples collected from the dog's body and Dave's body. Both were a match. She says the DNA is similar to a dog or a wolf but not a perfect match. This is definitely an animal attack, something has eaten them alive. Since there is no power in town and a man-eating animal is roaming about, everyone makes the decision to stay in the lodge for the night. Finn makes sure that there is at least one gun in each room. Most already have their guns with them anyway. At night, something attacks Trisha's husband Peter. It drags him from his bed and eats his hand alive. Peter shouts in pain and Gwen fires off into the dark at something. One bullet hits Peter too. When the rest search the place with their torches, there is no one other than Peter. The attacker simply vanished into thin air. Peter's hand is also covered in similar hairs like the one on Dave's body. Dr. Ellis checks these hairs as well. Sam gives her a bottle of drink as she is in a visible panic mode. The town people are frightened since they are not sure how the attack could happen inside the lodge. Finn calms everyone down and tells them to wait for the final result from Dr. Ellis. Dr. Ellis is analyzing this new sample by locking herself in her room. The results are again similar and inconclusive. The werewolf's legend has been famous in this town for centuries. This is an urban legend in which humans turned into a werewolf on a full moon, and yesterday was the full moon. A large image gallery is filled with werewolves paintings. Dr. Ellis now seems to believe in this legend of the werewolf as she takes her gun out in panic. She starts drinking heavily. When Finn and others come to meet her, she shoots at them and tells them it is a werewolf. Any one of them can be a werewolf, and she is so wasted and horrified that she is no longer making rational decisions. Sam takes an alternative key from Jeannie and enters Dr. Ellis's room from behind. Apparently, it has an emergency back door as this is a VIP suite. Then 3 gunshots are heard. On Sam's arrival, Dr. Ellis commits suicide. Sam opens the room door and everyone is in clear shock. Now everyone is convinced that one among them is a werewolf. They put a lamp at the center and start accusing each other of being a werewolf. Gwen puts forward a different urban legend theory of her own here, saying it could also be the work of a wendigo, an ever-hungry creature which roams around the woods in search of human flesh. Joaquin, who is from Argentina, says that in his country, it is believed that the 7th-born child will become a werewolf. People therefore used to kill their 7th child. Cicely thinks this is completely nonsense since she is a 7th child. That's when Trisha angrily shouts at everyone. She says all these stories of werewolves are rubbish. She says one of them is a bully and has murdered her dog, ate her husband's hand, and is doing this so that Sam will stop his pipeline project. Here Jeannie counters her and accuses Sam of killing Dr. Ellis since she was against his pipeline project. Nobody knows whether Dr. Ellis really committed suicide or whether Sam just killed her since the room was locked. Sam dismisses these rubbish allegations. In this manner, everyone starts accusing everyone else of being a werewolf, and point guns at each other. Frustrated, Finn shouts at everyone and calms them down. He gives a big lecture on community again, which nobody gives a damn. Everyone starts to leave the lodge. Only Finn, Cicely and Jeannie are left in the lodge. Sam pulls out his hunting gear for self-defense. Trisha and Peter are now back at their home. Cicely also had some doubts about Sam, so she asked Finn to search his room. Finn and Cicely search Sam's room, where Cicely finds a newspaper clipping in which the killings of Grout Pond and Townsend are mentioned. Apparently, Finn was posted earlier in the same city where these killings took place. Finn also finds a knife from Sam's drawer. It is covered in a cloth from which there is a strong diesel smell used to run generators. Joaquin and Devin are on their way home when they hear some noise in the dark. Both run in panic and get separated. Later, we see Trisha in front of Devin, whom she kills. Devin had previously opposed the pipeline project. But Trisha would have made a killing if it went through. Sam is wearing his hunting gear and is searching for Finn. Sam thinks Finn is a werewolf since killings shadowed him wherever he went. Meanwhile, Joaquin meets with Finn and Cicely. He says he and Devin got separated near Trisha's house, and asks for Finn's help. These 3 then arrive at Trisha's house, where Marcus is already there stealing kitchen knives to use as gloves. Marcus attacks Finn as he is not sure who is a werewolf. Later, he starts running away from him as his wife Gwen hits him and kills him. He dies at that precise moment. Trisha then arrives and kills Gwen. Everyone has gone crazy in fear. Trisha takes Finn, Cicely and Joaquin into the house at gunpoint. Trisha is so mad about her dog's death that she is taking revenge by killing all those who are against the pipeline project. She informs Joaquin about Devin's death. Due to this, Joaquin angrily kills Trisha with an iron rod, causing her head to fall into the fireplace. Later, these 3 run from Trisha's house. Sam is standing near the street corner. Here, Joaquin grabs Cicely's neck and points a gun at her. He says she is the real werewolf since she is the 7th-born child. Finn tries to negotiate with Joaquin, but he is in no mood to listen. Meanwhile, Sam shoots an arrow at Finn from behind, which brushes past his arm and enters straight into Joaquin's body. Joaquin falls down. Sam then grabs Cicely by the neck and starts blackmailing her. He says that Finn is the real werewolf, since wherever he is posted to, there are killings that follow. Sam also searched Finn's room and found a diesel-clothed knife. Finn says this is a lie as he got the knife from Sam's room. The 2 start bickering with each other. Taking advantage of this, Cicely attacks Sam and hits him at his knees. She runs away and Finn attacks Sam and starts beating him. These 2 are fighting near Sam's fire totem. Just then, Joaquin once again expresses his anger towards Sam. He fires at the fire totem, which causes a huge explosion. Sam is killed in the blast. Cicely then takes Finn to the town's only bar to treat him. Inside, Finn sees Cicely's mail room where several undelivered mailboxes are lined up. He checks it and sees Dave's ID and other documents. Finn realizes that Cicely is actually the werewolf. Upon knowing that Finn now knows her secret, Cicely laughs at him innocently. She says the people of this town were morons. As they were fighting among themselves, She was the one who placed the dog's collar at Flint's house. She was the one who kept the knife in Sam's room. She was the one who killed Dave since she wanted the uniform of a mailman, and there can be only one mailman in this town. Nobody doubts a mailman. She tried hunting in other cities, but the workload there was hectic. She ate Peter's hand as he was a pervert. Cicely now transforms herself into a werewolf. She tries to attack Finn, but the hunter Flint attacks her from behind. A fight breaks out between these three. Later, Jeannie fires an arrow at Cicely and kills her. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.